Good afternoon. Welcome to the Cable Television Commission meeting of October 3rd, 2024. My name is Kathy Hall. Each commissioner has received electronically a copy of the minutes from our last meeting, which was August 1st. At this time, are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I call for a motion to approve the same.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Is there any correspondence at this time? And I would like to welcome, we have two guests in our audience today. One from, I presume, Wadsworth High School? No.
It's that one right there.
Pardon me?
I'm from the Medina Gazette.
From the Medina Gazette. Boy, they hire them young there, don't they? We're glad you're here, and Mayor Lava is with us. Let's move right on to our staff reports, starting with the Service Director, Mike Testa.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Typically, I give an overview of the fiber project, but Kevin will speak to that today. I wanted to give more of a general update as to where we're at with the budget process. So typically, sometime around mid-May, we start the budget process and we prepare a draft budget almost. We call the tax budget. That it's not so much for our operating appropriation and funding as it is to provide the county with some information. Once that's given to the county, we start working on our true operating budget request for the upcoming year. And that typically occupies August and into September. We're at the point now where we're just about finished with our request. As part of that request process, we basically ask our managers to propose the items that they need to justify those items. Then the service director and the respective assistant service director sit down with each manager and go through those items, talk about the justification for them, you know, how firm the pricing or the cost estimates are, the timing of the expenditure, those type of things. Ultimately, after those review meetings, the service director's office, meaning it's typically Matt and I specifically with Kevin's telecom budget and with Joanna's WCTV budget, you know, we make any final adjustments to that we think are necessary. And there's sometimes things that you know, we feel a need to add, or sometimes there's things that we'll say, you know, after looking at all of our finances, this is a lower priority for this year, so maybe we're going to defer that. We ultimately get to a point where we put everything together in a book. We actually call it the budget book. And then we present that to City Council, where we will go through the operating and capital requests of each of the departments. So really, over the last 6 weeks, we've worked, Matt and I, but in particular me, have worked pretty closely with Joanna and Kevin to fashion their budget requests for next year. So inclusive in all of that is a pretty deep dive into project costs as they relate to the fiber project, and we want to make sure that we're not overspending. And I say overspending in a sense that, you know, the project finances were planned, so we're largely financing this really in-house just with our telecom funds and a little bit of a contribution from the electric department. So we try to match up inflows of cash, the revenues, with our expenses, and we feel that we've done that for this next year. And, you know, also we balance that against making sure that we're maintaining project momentum, because there's a lot of excitement about the project as more and more people, you know, hear about the project, see the progress we're making. You know, people want to sign up. So we feel that we've done a pretty good job of balancing those two, in that we've been responsible with the finances, and we've also planned in a way to maintain project momentum. So I'm happy to say that from a financial standpoint, we've revisited everything with a pretty careful eye, and I think we're on track with regard to that. Joanna's budget is a little bit simpler just because there's not a $10 million project, that we're in the middle of right now.
Not yet.
Not yet, she says, but we do the same thing there to make sure that the staff has the resources they need to continue to provide quality services. And, we look at all aspects of that, from staffing to resources to, is it time to upgrade equipment? Are we getting the most efficient use out of our studio space? Those type of things. So I wanted just to give you a little bit of a kind of a contextual look at what goes on this time of the year to help plan for the operations that both WCTV and the communications departments will live out over the 12 months of 2025. And really, those are my comments. If anyone has any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mike. On to Joanna Perino,
Thank you so much.
WCTV.
Glad to see everybody today. On our first slide, as normal, I'm going to talk about our programming statistics here. New shows, we've had 268 new shows between August and September, with nearly 1,200 year to date. You see the hours of programming as well. And our online views on our watchwctv.com site still doing well, with nearly 50,000 views this year. On the next slide, I'm happy to say that we did it. You've been to these meetings where I've been pushing for people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, so we finally made the $1,000 subscriber goal. And what that means is that we can now begin monetizing. So if you're watching our YouTube channel, you may now see some advertisements when the videos are on that you're watching. So that will enable us to begin to receive some revenue from that YouTube channel. It's a small amount right now, but as people subscribe to the channel and watch more of the videos and the ads that go along with that, that number will continue to grow. Aid and Aben have been working diligently in getting both the new and the old programs uploaded to the YouTube channel, and we currently have almost 3,000 videos uploaded and 140 playlists. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Right now we have 1,144 subscribers, and we are hoping to build that and keep growing, and we have over 122,000 views already. So doing well. On the next slide, well, let me go back, talk about the top most viewed programs on the YouTube channel. As you see, 3 of the top 4 videos of most viewed are football games, Wadsworth High School football games. The sports coverage is some of our most watched programming. Last year we broadcast over 200 Wadsworth School sporting events, and this year will be no different. Hopefully you've enjoyed our live coverage of all the Grizzly football games, home and away, this year on Channel 16 on CityLink and 1025 on Spectrum, as well as on our YouTube channel and watchwctv.com. There are so many ways to cheer on your Grizzlies, so we hope you're enjoying that. The weather has not been super cooperative on Friday nights, if any of you were at the game last week, but that did not stop our crew from showing up and providing a great production for our Grizzly fans, and we received lots of compliments about it. They appreciate our coverage. We also have complete season coverage of boys and girls soccer and volleyball, and we appreciate the parents that have volunteered to cover those sports for us. They're doing home and away. We couldn't do all this coverage of the high school sports without them, so we appreciate that. So as you can see, football, volleyball, soccer, and boys and girls soccer, that's what we have covering for fall sports. If there are any parents that are looking towards winter sports that would like to cover any of those for us, please contact me, and we'll be glad to tell them how that works and give them the training that they need to use our equipment. Talking about one of the new shows that we have on WCTV, this was the idea of WCTV's Abe Haprian, who's one of our newest employees. It's called A Day in Their Shoes, and this first episode features our Director of Economic Development, Tom Morris, and basically it's just, do you ever wonder, what does this person do? Good example would be the mayor. What is a normal day as the mayor look like, or Mike Testa? What does that look like? So our first guest was Tom Morris. Our next episode is going to feature our police chief, Dan Chafin, so look for that coming up soon. We're going to be shooting that next week. And just a few community events that WCTV has covered over the last couple months. Abe and Aiden, you probably see both of them out and about at our community events. The Wadsworth Farmers Market just ended last weekend, but we did a great spotlight video on that over the last couple weeks and got to talk to some of the vendors and organizations that are continually at the farmers market and make it so successful. We've covered 2 Suprema Senior Center events. If you haven't been to the Senior Center, there's always something going on. The Love Boat Cruise and a Hoedown, which were both super fun events. I know a few of you were there. Balloons over Wadsworth at the airport, the Props and Pistons, actually at the Akron airport. We sent Aiden out there to cover that, and that was made for a wonderful video that our viewers loved. Of course, the Blue Tip Park that we just had the ribbon cutting for, and the Wadsworth Chamber of Commerce Rosie Awards, where WCTV was in the top 3 of the Legacy Award category for businesses in operation of 25 years or more. Ann's Pastry came out the top winner in that category, but you know, how can we compete with the best cream sticks in the entire world? So we're okay with that. We were happy to be nominated. So Aiden Uzinski from WCTV produced the video that was shown at the Rosie Awards, and he did an excellent job. Again, we received a lot of compliments on that. We've probably been producing that video and broadcasting that event as long as I've been here, 30 years. So we do have a wonderful partnership with the Wadsworth Chamber of Commerce. I want to say congratulations to 2 of our producers, Bruce Lorenz and Gary McCubbin. Every year I send in 4 or 5 entries to a regional media contest called the Philo Festival of Media Awards. It encompasses a 4-state region: Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, and Indiana. This year, I'm happy to say Bruce on the Loose, the interview with the American Blind Golf, took first place in the Best Talk Show category. And Gary McCubbin, producer of Sonny and Friends on the right there, he took first place in Best Children's Programming with his episode called The Friendly Donkey. These awards will be presented at the Alliance for Community Media Central States Conference in late October, and Aiden will be attending that conference and hopefully bringing back lots of new ideas. He'll be meeting with employees from other access centers around that 4-state region. So it's always a good experience, and you get lots of new ideas. And if Bruce and Gary aren't able to attend, Aiden will actually accept that award on their behalf at the awards presentation. Speaking of awards, the WCTV Clapper Awards are on the horizon, something all of our producers look forward to each year. This will be our 34th year. Voting is happening now through October 13th, and you can vote on our website or our social media pages, or you can stop in and we'll give you a paper ballot. The voting is considered the popularity score, and all the nominees on the ballot are also submitted to a panel of media professionals that do not have a connection to Wadsworth, so they're not friends with any of the producers, and they're judged on content and production quality, and those 2 scores are combined to pick the winner. So the winners will be announced on Tuesday, November 12th in a special awards and volunteer appreciation night event. And finally, don't forget to look for Roger Polk tomorrow night at First Friday. He'll be downtown in front of our friends at Thurber's Jewelers selling our WCTV Foundation 40 times $500 raffle tickets for $10. We've sold almost 1,700 tickets. Very soon we'll pick our next $500 winner. You can purchase tickets on our website or social media or stop in. These funds help us purchase items or provide services that may not be in our city budget, like something that we're happy to announce that we've just constructed a podcast set. So that's something new that we have to offer to the community. Through a grant from the Blue Tip Festival Committee and some money raised from the foundation, the WCTV Foundation, we have constructed our podcast set. Thanks to Aiden for setting everything up. And it's just another resource that WCTV provides to the community that they can use to create, which is what we want WCTV to be, a space to create. We have a little work to do on the set background, and we'll be ready to go. And also thanks to Berkshire Hathaway Stauffer Realty, who was moving their office. They donated all the furniture that we needed for the podcast set. So we're super excited about that. And as always, if anybody has any ideas for interesting people or organizations or businesses that we can interview and spotlight, please contact me. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Joanna. I see Kevin Wallach is standing by with CityLink.
Thank you. It's nice to see everybody again. I will apologize, but not too much for my casual attire today. I will be wearing something Guardians related every day until we have a World Series championship in our back pocket. This is the year. So with that, we'll talk about numbers for the last 2 months. Net activity, as far as August goes, we were plus 15 internet customers, flat in video. I'll have an explanation about some video things too. -1 in phone. In September, we were -9 video, -6 in internet, +1 in phone. Currently, the way our reporting works, which was all something was set up from our IT department, we are really only counting cable TV. We don't have a way right now to count and integrate what we're doing on the streaming side. So eventually, we will coordinate those two through some reporting, which is part of a new system that we're still completing the setup on. And as we complete that, the last part of that we'll do is develop new reporting. So hopefully by the next time we meet, we will have much better reporting in place that will show that. I will tell you, just to share a little bit on that front, that currently we're beginning in our first underground development up in Weatherstone, and we've connected about 50 of our 130 customers, should be close to 60 by the end of tomorrow, so about half, on a temporary solution so that we can pull the old coax out of the ground, place the fiber, and connect our first underground development. So that's something that's exciting that's coming here very shortly. And it's been a new process for all the techs to learn and for the construction guys that are helping with that. So it's been a learning curve, but it's been a good learning curve, and we're pleased with the results so far. Looking at net activations year to date, we're -20 in video, +68 in internet, +2 in phone. Those are the highest number of internet customers we've ever had here in the city, so the business has continued to grow. And there's generally what I call a left to right movement of people moving from a less expensive, lower tiered internet product to a more expensive, faster speed internet as their needs and desires and how they use the internet change. As far as monthly run rate, we are losing about 3% of our video customers, which has been a trend that's been, a long time. But we expect that number to shallow with the offering of the streaming TV product, something that's a lot more flexible as a platform. You can take it with you. It's very easy to use from your phone. And so we're excited about that opportunity as well. Moving on, we always kind of go over, so when we have activity in a given month and we show you that, we're +15 or we're -9, what it doesn't really show you there is, well, how much total activity was. And typically in a month, there's about 80 to 100 customers that either left service or signed up for service, and then we're showing you the net. What this does is it kind of breaks down, well, what were the reasons that the people left? And generally speaking, and this has been a trend for some time, that kind of reddish area and the green area signify people that moved. The ones that are red moved outside of an area we served. So it wasn't like we had an opportunity to maintain them as a customer. They moved outside of the city limits of Wadsworth and what we serve. The green area signifies people that moved within the city that technically are still customers. We show it on here as churn, even though it's not really, because the CSRs will take the customer out of a service at one location and put them in at the other. And then as you look through the other reasons there, a couple of things to note. Where we have what we call budget is where we would take care of what we term non-pay disconnects. The city has always been more than fair with people and trying to catch up on payments and so forth. There comes a time when, if they haven't paid you in multiple months, that a business decision needs to be made for the city. So utility billing has been, if you will, ramping that up and kind of cleaning up the books, so to speak. So we've seen a higher number of disconnects, and really, that really accounts for what you see as a loss in the month of September. And then the other is just categories that were hard to define. The one that we really look for is that orange area. How many people left because of a competitor? And that number's been traditionally low here month after month, and it's a very insignificant number here in August. And to share the actual number in September, also a very small number, 3 people in September left to go to a competitor. And again, you're seeing, somewhere north of 70% generally that had to do with moving, and 40 to 50% of those are generally people that just aren't, unfortunately, in an area that we can serve any longer. So I think it reflects somewhat on the quality of service that people have when they're here, the name that the city has built for itself with regard to the services that we provide, and the reason that without advertising we do as well as we do. We continue to promote our smart Wi-Fi. It's a managed Wi-Fi system within the home. The complications of making your internet work consistently and at the highest levels of performance with all the devices that are in people's homes, this system really helps with that. And it gives us the ability to remotely look at an individual setup in their house and identify if there's an area to make it better. And we can do so proactively. So a customer may not notice that something was wrong, but we might have a report that shows, hey, there's something we can do to make their service better, and fix it before they ever call, which is, I think, a really nice thing. So we're deployed in, actually as of today, more than 2,900 homes have that smart Wi-Fi system in there. More than 5,800 SuperPods are out there, about 2 per home. And we now manage about 32,500 devices in those homes, about an average of 16 devices per home. So my experience, having worked for a telco prior to this, those large corporations always told customers who complained about something wrong with their internet that, well, we looked at it and it was good to the outside of your house, so not our responsibility. We look at that and say, you know what, a customer inside their house is simply looking at, is the product I'm paying for working or not? And so we do our best to make sure that regardless if it was an issue inside the house or outside the house, we help to resolve that so that they have a good working service. And again, that's, I think, one of the reasons people stay with us. We always break down here just the reasons subscribers leave, and you'll see the most recent one that we have there in August. And again, this is where they left the area. Very little of that coloring at the top is due to competition. And we watch that closely to identify whether or not the competitor might be doing something like going door to door or provided a new offer, so that we're aware of anything that's going on in our marketplace. Just to revisit, we started offering CityLink streaming TV. The website should be updated probably, if not this week, next week, with those offers, so that people will be able to see about them. We have made the strategic decision moving forward that anyone going to the fiber, the only option available to them will be a streaming TV product. You can't keep the old cable TV and have your internet from fiber. So one, we've done that. 2, the other thing that we'll do to kind of minimize the workloads on techs so that we can focus on connecting people to the fiber is if they have a problem on their cable TV, because the prices are very similar and the offers, frankly, as the channel lineups are more, there's more value in the streaming lineup, is to move them, even if they're on the cable, to the streaming TV platform. Over time, that will be a more stable platform that will require less, if you will, maintenance from the technicians. It will help us to focus on the revenue generation part of connecting new customers to the fiber network. So we always, I kind of put in some different advertising here. You have the ability to watch TV live. You can replay a program if you got home. As the example I got home late from cable commission and I was missing a Guardians game, I can go back and watch it from the beginning. That might be important to me. Live sports, premium movie channels. Our premium offer, which is very similar in price to what we offer today in our high def tier, offers 17 movie channels. It doesn't have HBO. You can pay for that separately, but it's got all the Encore, Stars, Showtime. All those are included in that price, so there's a great value to be had there. So basically, all someone has to do is they'll go to the website, they'll place an order, they'll be provided with a login, which will be, there'll be a code and a username, and they'll connect to whatever device they use. So if you happen to use Roku, an Amazon Fire Stick, a Google product of some kind, or anything that would be Android related, it'll work on any of those platforms, and it's super simple to connect. You'll download the CityLink app. You'll go to the App Store, download the CityLink app, and I think, Bob, you've already been converted to that, right?
Yeah.
So very easy to do, and you can talk to any of the CSRs to sign up for that. I like the format. A lot of streaming TV is really kind of a hodgepodge thing to try to find out what's on, and you're kind of almost excessively moving through channels. This still has what looks kind of like a linear channel guide, and for me, it might be my age, I grew up always being able to look at the guide and look through the guide to find a channel that I wanted to watch, and I think it works very well, so we like that. We've simplified our pricing. There are no hidden costs. There are no contracts. There is no set-top box. What you see is what you get. Next week, actually the 10th of October, the FCC will start requiring all providers, including ourselves, to have what they refer to as a nutrition label for each product that we sell. It has to show what the product is, how much you pay for it, and any extra charges. So a competitor who might today say, well, there's an $8 high-speed internet fee, and there's $10 on your modem, and there's $6 on this. So when you see an advertised product at $49 and you get your bill and it's like $72. So we have a simple price. The city is as straightforward as we can be. If we tell you it's $39, it's $39. It includes everything to make it work at $39. And we think that that's the better way to go, and we think that that will help to continue to build loyalty within the group. I provided one of the new channel lineups here. If you have questions about the channel lineups, I'd be glad to discuss that after what we do here, and I'll take any questions that you might have.
I have one question. So when someone switches from cable to streaming, I'm assuming that WCTV gets fees from cable. That goes away, right?
So actually, WCTV is supported through it's a little different way of working, basically. How do you explain?
It's the 5% franchise fee.
Yeah, so there's a
paid.
franchise fee that's paid
Right.
partly by us and partly by, in this case, the competitor, and that's all of their funding. So it really doesn't have anything to do with this specifically. However, I think to the crux of your question, customers who are on the streaming platform will still be able to see WCTV.
Yeah.
We have transcoders here that take all of the local programming, including the channels that we offer here, and basically we send that through the internet to the provider who's actually down in the Atlanta area, who packages it back to us with all the other channels. So you'll still have the same great viewing experience that you had here in all your local channels.
So,
I think Susan's question is, though, that the funding, the 5% is based on cable subscribers, not streaming subscribers and internet. So
Yeah.
right, that's my
That's-
question.
Yeah, okay. So over time, there will be some, dissipation from that number. Legally, there have been some changes made largely, by some politicians who have been convinced that providers, the larger providers, can consider work that they've done on their plant to improve that plant and discount that from their fee. So in many cases, these fees are disappearing anyway. And so we just see it as an opportunity to move to the other platform and still offer all the great value that WCTV provides.
But we know that franchise fee, though, does support WCTV. So what does the city want to do? That's my question. because we know that as we switch over to cable or the streaming service, we're going to lose that franchise fee.
Yep.
So the city is going to have to come up with some way to cover that.
Yeah, and that's actually something we've been looking at probably for the last year, is what do we want WCTV to look like in terms of the services they offer and the cost structure that they need to live within. Right now, everything but about $20,000 is covered by the franchise fees that we get. So it's in the neighborhood of around $360 out of a budget that's approximately $380. Now, fortunately, it's not a steep dive, but it is a trend that we expect to continue. And as part of our budget process, that's one of the things that we look at, because specifically with the special revenue fund, which is what WCTV is, we're balancing to the revenue sources. So we're investigating that. There are some potential options that we're looking at. We're not far enough down the road to say which of those directions we're going to go in, but the impetus for us looking at all of this really started with realizing that the revenue streams are going to change, and the main revenue stream that we've relied on over the years is going to be on a downward trend probably from this point forward. So how do we continue to offer high-quality services, the services that the community wants, but to do so with an environment that really we've got less to spend on it? So that is a work in progress, and as we make progress on that and come to some decisions, I'll share that with the commission at future meetings.
So I have one other question related to that. So you said we've made the strategic decision that when someone gets hooked into fiber optic, when it's done in their neighborhood, that they won't have a choice, right? So I forget what the schedule is. How long will it take before everybody in Wadsworth is on fiber optic?
3 years.
3 years? Okay.
But that revenue stream will come down steadily during that period, unfortunately.
Keep in mind, we pay half of that number now, so it's not covering the entire delta, right? I mean, CityLink does pay for part of that franchise fee. So the gap that would need to be covered or funded is not as large as it may seem.
Okay.
So it's not 360,000?
No, Mike could probably tell you,
Yeah,
CityLink pays 200 and
Yeah,
something.
it is 360, but CityLink is paying more than half of that.
Okay, and then the stations that are on cable, they pay the rest of that. That's the franchise fee, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's paid for by the providers.
The providers,
Yeah.
that's what I meant,
So
yeah.
it would be the name we don't mention in the room.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. Moving on now to council updates with Susan Hanlon.
Thank you. So I will repeat what Mike said, and that is it's budget season. So that's a lot of what council's working on. And in particular, our committee meetings in October will be very oriented towards budget items, and that process will continue through November. Some of the other things that council is in the process of approve, that it's on our agenda, or we've approved it, is changes in our riparian setbacks. That has to do with rules about keeping keeping the fresh water clean that surrounds Wadsworth, and basically we're becoming more lenient, but still very much within proper guidelines to be safe. But we traditionally have had probably more restrictive requirements than other communities. And so partly as an economic development initiative, and we're trying to make it a little more attractive and good for developers. And then another thing that I think it got final. Well, it's in our process is increases in water and sewer rates. And so those are going to be coming. They're certainly needed, and there's been a lot of study. We've had professional rate studies done, and we're just trying to, keep not so much ahead of the game, but keep up with the game and make sure that we have the funds that we need, and also still providing a very cost-effective rates for our residents. And then the other thing I would just mention is that I did go to Wadsworth CTV about, I think, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, Joanna. And I met the staff, and I heard about all their ideas for different things, and saw what equipment they have. And, really it's a small but mighty group, and it's amazing what they do and what they can do. So they have lots of ways that, just like we need to change the funding for WCTV, we need to change, some of the things that they do and their functions, and they're prepared. I think they're ready to go.
Thank you, Susan. Could there be anything new with the Wadsworth City Schools?
It's not budget season. That's exciting. Actually, it's more celebration season. It's homecoming week this week for us. So hopefully, and I guarantee you that there's a chance for good weather this Friday. So come out and support our Grizzlies Friday night football game. We do have 3 home games left for football, so it is going to be great weather the rest of the year for sure. I do want to say thank you to all the volunteers that help, WCTV and get all the shows on, and the athletic events or musicals or choir concerts or whatever events that we have from a school's perspective onto TV that others can see. It is important that WCTV keeps to function and go. I think it's a nice relationship from a school and city and TV plan here, so it kind of works really well for everybody involved, and I think that's important to keep going as all these conversations and budget continue to have happen. But we're very pleased and we're very excited, so thank you for all that you guys do to make that. So school year's rolling good, so just stay out of the way. Don't be passing school buses when those red lights are out there. Don't be in a hurry around the children. Or I realize that that 2:30 to 3:30 time frame is very challenging to get around sometimes. We know that, but just be patient with everyone out there. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve Moore. At this time, is there any new business for the commission?
I thought I would just share an update on the fiber project, just an overview. So we have passed about 1,650 homes. Our construction team continues to make progress on a daily basis. As I mentioned earlier, we have begun work in our first underground development, which is a different technology so that we can take them off of the existing plant, remove it from underground, and replace it with fiber. So we're excited about this because it will really help to firm up timelines for the rest of the work that needs to be done. Because about 50% of the city's infrastructure with regard to how they receive electric and TV service is underground. So this will really help to kind of establish we've done a lot of work that we believe will keep us pretty accurate, but this will really help to firm that up. So we're excited about that. We have been short a technician, one out for medical reasons for some time. We were fortunate enough to be able to start to backfill a position. I've been in interviews all day. So when you think about it, when you've got 4 techs and you're down 1, it's 25% of your workforce. It has quite an impact on the work you're trying to do. So we're excited to get that new person in, and I will tell you that the candidate selection has been terrific, best I've ever seen since I've been here. So we're very pleased with the talent that we've seen so far, and we're excited to add someone to the team.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you all for attending today. Our next meeting is, can you believe it, December 5th, 2024, 4 o'clock, right here in Chambers. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.